Hi, folks. Here we are for Module 2. The first one, accountability. So, what makes a good public administrator? The accrediting body for public administration schools, NASPA, has these core competencies: leadership and management, policy participation, critical thinking, a public service perspective, and communication. So, these are some of the standards and the standard principles, competencies, things that public administrators need to know. The key terms that I'd like you to know, be familiar with, is government. These are the formal institutions and processes for making collective decisions. Public administration, managing and implementing public programs. And public policy, government decisions intended to affect citizens' lives. Let's put this in context. We can speak of governance. This is the broader process of governing beyond the formal government. This includes NGOs, private contractors, community partnerships. So the big picture is we have formal government and we have governance. And modern governance involves many actors beyond just the traditional ones, like a city or a state. Numerous actors have to interact to accomplish our public goals. Three enduring debates in public administration. These things have been with us since the beginning of the field in the late 1800s. Politics versus administration, facts versus values, public versus private. This shapes how we think about the role and practice of public administration. The first one, politics versus administration. The question is, should administrators be neutral implementers or active participants in public policy? And so, in reality, it's nice to separate them. There's a science that stands apart from politics, is a traditional view. Um, but in reality, city managers lobby the council for budget priorities. School superintendents shape curriculum and discipline policy. Federal agency administrators make discretionary enforcement decisions, which violations to prioritize. Our police officer, when they choose to give you a warning versus a ticket when they pull you over for going 90 miles per hour on the freeway, that's a sense a political decision. It's a value decision. It's who gets what, when, and how. And so the take is, I wonder, is can public administrators really be neutral? The beginning of our government and the system of public service is that everybody is treated equally, right? We are all equal before the law, and so public administrators should treat us that way. But in reality, perhaps they don't. Fact versus value. Should administration be based on objective facts or subjective values? Um, this is kind of a thing that's with us: facts, statistics, numbers, performance metrics versus values. What type of community do we want? What resources, if they're scarce, should be distributed? Um, Determining who gets a new bus route or where the high speed rail runs, right? Um, these are all things that can be determined based on facts or values. Public versus private is a third classic one. Are public and private management fundamentally different? So there's always questions that, oh, government should be run more like a business. Um, there's questions: can private companies deliver public values effectively? um, and so I think that sometimes there is a balance. We could have a public sector organization that contracts out with a private sector. We could think about waste management, utilities, charter schools, things like these. And we can get into the differences between these two, right? The bottom line in any private sector organization is profit. In the public sector, profit isn't something we don't want our governments to profit. We don't want our nonprofits to profit. So the bottom line effectively is efficiency, effectiveness, people served, things like that, things that are difficult to measure sometimes. So the bottom lines may be different, but the organizations, the how things are run, what's the difference there? Public administration is interdisciplinary. I'm not going to read this entire list, but I'll just let you watch it scroll like the credits at the end of a movie about how all of these different disciplines, these academic disciplines, have an impact on public policy, on public administration. Want to sail a ship, make a bomb, build a bridge? You need expertise from a number of different fields, right? This is why public administration is interdisciplinary. We are calling on people with all different expertise to come help us address problems that face the public day by day. This matters because the problems that we're tackling have to have these different perspectives, right? Homelessness response, for example, we need economics, we need social work, we need public health, we need law, we need urban planning, and so on. And you can look at these other examples too. So interdisciplinarity matters within public administration because all no single discipline, certainly not a single public administrator, has all the answers to all the different problems that face us every day. Fundamental questions. Is managing the public the same as managing in the private? What should government's role be in society? And how can we ensure that the government is acting in the public interest? These are the fundamental questions in public administration. The public demands certain things from our government. We have three core expectations. Politics, make the choices among those competing values. Performance, get the work done effectively and efficiently. And accountability, be accountable, answerable for actions and results. Accountability is multifaceted. Let's think about these things. 5 principles: transparency, responsiveness, responsibility, integrity, and trust. All of these principles go into how we understand accountability. There are different types of accountability: political accountability, answerable to public officials; legal accountability; administrative accountability; and social accountability. We often say that public administration operates inside of a fishbowl. Think about the fish inside the fishbowl. People can stare in and look and scrutinize every single aspect of that fish's life. That's what accountability is in the public service. We have accountability questioners, people looking in to the fishbowl of our public agency, of our whatever it may be, our organization, and they are holding us accountable for every single action. There are different elements within accountability: fiscal, responsible use of money; process, following the rules and procedures; program, achieving the outcomes you say you're going to achieve; and performance, meeting standards and goals. In action, we can think about public works. All right, so fiscal accountability is project bids and the final cost. Process accountability is following the procurement and environmental review procedures. Program, where should the improvements be delivered? Performance, it's on time, it's on budget, it's meeting the quality standards. We could think about how sometimes these different types of accountability can conflict. So, coming up, we're going to explore next major approaches in public administration: old public administration, new public management, new public service, and new public governance. Each of these responds in different ways to the challenges and the criticism and the type of accountability that we've just discussed. So, in this module, we learned about public administration requires multiple competencies and perspectives. There's enduring debates. There's interdisciplinarity. Accountability has multiple dimensions and stakeholders, and the field is continuing to evolve. That's it for this set. I'll see you for the next one.